All Access with Danny Zalesko and Tim Richards.
Your entire life, you've been in the spotlight in an entertainment family, and you seem like you've always stayed very grounded through the years. And you see so many stories of people kind of going off the rails in the spotlight and having success. What's your secret, Ben, to just
Well,
maintain?
it's not really a secret. I mean, I think it answers. You've already answered the question. I spent my whole life in the business. My parents were both in the business, so I just followed in my father's footsteps. And my father was, off the boat from Italy. He was I'm first generation Italian, and my mom was from Texas, so they were both grew up pretty grounded in their childhood environments and met up in Hollywood, both coming to LA and Hollywood to be actors and actresses. And they met during a play. And, but I think the fact that they were both pretty grounded people themselves has an awful lot to do with it. I was not brought up in a showbiz family. It wasn't like eyes and teeth, honey, eyes and teeth. We never lived in Hollywood or Beverly Hills. We never hung out in those crowds. We lived out on little ranches in the valley with horses and chickens and stuff. And but I just, my dad was in the business. I got my first jobs through his agent, and I would come home from my first series was Circus Boy in the '50s, and I would come home and have to clean the pool. Come home from shooting the series and have to clean the pool. So that's the essence of it, is just growing up in a pretty down to earth family.
Well, it's good. It's good wisdom for the viewers out there. So thanks for sharing that. With all the things you have done in your career, superstar musician, superstar actor, comedian. I mean, the list goes on and on. Is there one thing that you haven't done yet that's on your list of things to do?
Good question. I never planned on accomplishing anything. I never had any goals. I never, like I said, since I was born into the business, just following in my parents' footsteps, I never had that I want to be in showbiz. I want to sing. I want to dance. I never had that. I guess you can tell by my hobbies, maybe what I would, well, for starters, uh, when I was up for the Monkees, when I went for the first auditions and casting for the Monkey Show, I was in college studying to be an architect.
Hmm.
So maybe that's something I wish I would have done or could have done. My interests lie, besides my job, my career in show business, but all my interests have always lied elsewhere in terms of hobbies, and I can't remember which it is. Is it the vocation or the avocation that's your hobbies? I can never remember. But I don't know. In school, high school, I was doing electronics and got into computers at a very early age. Um, Always been a science kind of geek. I was studying physics in England when I lived there. I did a course in physics, and I still study physics to this day. It's kind of my bedside reading is quantum physics and stuff like that. So I don't
That's
know. I
great.
mean, you can even tell by my shirt. Can you see that?
Oh yeah, JPL Laboratories. Yes, that's
Yeah,
very cool.
JPL. I go there frequently and hang out.
With the rocket scientist.
Yeah, with the rocket scientists. Yeah, or I go to Houston, Mission Control, or Cape Kennedy, or physics labs around. If I'm in town doing a tour, I'll go visit a lab or university or something that has some science stuff going on. So that's kind of my interest. And I don't know. Obviously at 76, I'm not going to suddenly get a degree in physics and become a rocket scientist, but it is still a big interest to me.
You see
Uh,
yourself someday flying on Virgin Galactic?
No, no, not really.
I want to spend $1 billion to go 50 miles over the earth.
Yeah, no, no, not really. No, but
Nah.
I did sign up in the '60s. Pan Am, when it was still around,
Yep.
Pan Am had this kind of program, which I guess they were being serious about it, but it was a little bit tongue in cheek. It was with Pan Am, and it was something like, I can't remember the name of it, but you would sign up for a trip into space when and where they managed to build a spaceship. And you actually got a little card. You
That's
said
cool.
your passenger number 240, and I think it cost $5 or something. Put your name down.
I got a question for you, Mick. When you did that audition for the Monkees years ago, I mean, it was another acting job that you were going on, an audition. There was nothing at all to prepare you for the fact that A, you got the job, B, it was a smash hit, and C, there was that extra layer of fame and stardom by being a performer and having a live stage career on top of that. How was that? I mean, when that lightning got captured in a bottle, how was it for you and the other three guys in that bubble to deal with that?
Well, I can't speak for anybody else. I
Just
can't
you.
speak for the other three guys. But remember, the Monkees was not a group. The Monkees was a television show
Right.
about a group that really didn't exist except on the television show, I guess, until we went out and performed. You know the show Glee
Yeah.
Yeah.
came along a few years ago, a show about a Glee club. Well, that was the closest thing I've seen come along in a while, except for movies, Hollywood movies. Glee was a television show about an imaginary Glee club, but they could all do it. They could all sing and dance and act and perform. And the Monkees was a television show about this rock and roll band that wasn't the Beatles and wasn't an answer to the Beatles. It was about this band that wanted to be the Beatles and never made it. And that was a very key ingredient, is that it was the struggle for success that I think helped endeared it to so many people. But back in '66, of course, this kind of thing was unheard of. You didn't make that kind of crossover, except in movies they did. If you think about Marx Brothers movies, they were these four brothers and they had these adventures and they sang songs and they did shtick. And it was actually John Lennon, the first one that I heard make the comparison of the Monkees to the Marx Brothers. So if you look at the Monkees as a half-hour Marx Brother episode on television, it all makes a whole lot more sense. The only thing that doesn't make sense is, as we never got any work, it begs the question, how could we afford a Malibu beach house when we never got a job?
Well, you're sharing rent, so it costs less.
Yeah, right. That's true. Yeah. Splitting the rent. Yeah. So that
was
you
a good question.
understand that if you look at the Monkees in that light, under that with that kind of focus, it makes a whole lot more sense. And then when I started doing musicals on Broadway, I realized that's what the Monkees was. It was musical theater.
Yeah.
Like the Marx Brothers on
Sure.
television.
Yeah.
You know, as a kid, I wasn't thinking any of those things at all. A whole lot of sense to me now.
Well, no one did at the time.
No.
Well,
no.
like I say, it never happened on television. That was like the first time.
Yeah.
You'd go to a movie and you'd see Steve Allen play Benny Goodman, or you'd see some actor play a performer. Even more recently, Sean Penn doing Sweet and Low Down, the guitar player.
Yeah, great
name
movie.
Escapes me. Well, obviously, when you see it in a movie, even to this day, you don't question it. But it was at the time on television, very unique.
All Excess with Danny Zalesko and Tim Richards.
Hey, that's a good looking book you got there, Tim. Where'd you get that?
I bought my good friend Danny Zelisko's book called All Excess.
I heard if you go to dzplive.com, I can get one too.
You sure can.
Hey now.
And here's why you want to get one. It is full of stories. My good friend Danny Zelisko has done concert promotion for 40 years.
Sounds like a hell of a guy.
He's a hell of a guy, and it's filled with pictures and amazing stories about the concert business.
Buy yours today.